Good morning. So I am off this morning to catch a bus in order to go to this little town. I think it's called like Alfriston or something like that. I don't know, but it's really close to the Long Man of Wilmington, which is this like chalk drawing of a man, like a man figure on the side of like one of the big hills here. So it's like one of those things where they're not quite sure who did it, but it's probably just like some ancient English people. But I'm gonna go check that out. There's like a bunch of hiking around there, and then we'll see what the rest of the day brings. I'm still not 100% planned out, trying to be more spontaneous, so we'll see how it goes. Hello from Alfriston. So I took the very tiny little mini bus to get here, and now I'm starting my walk from this little town to the Long Man of Wilmington. It's not supposed to be a very hard hike, so we'll see how long that takes me. But let's give it a little bus I came here on. I'm following this path that I got off of All Trails. I have to say, not my favorite so far. There's some sketchy road walking, like right over there. Not very far, but there is no sign. It's just bush. So you have to walk in the road, and as you can see from that car, the road is quite narrow. It's definitely kind of sketchy, but at least it's pretty out here, and thankfully I'm about to go on a path. I don't know if you can see it here. You can see that little post right there. So hopefully it'll take me someplace that feels slightly safe. I am on the path now, thankfully. So one of the cool things about walkways or pathways in England is that some of them just cut like right through somebody's field. So you can see here, I'm basically in a pasture. Thankfully there's nothing in here with me right now. But you can just kind of cut through, like they've created these public footpaths for people to continue walking. And so it's kind of neat that you get to go places that maybe would be harder to get to in, you know, like the US or something like that. But you do need to keep a lookout for livestock. So there's that. House. This is not like fun colors, but idyllic English countryside. I don't know what is. And here's my next bit of public footpath, which looks like a home for singing nettles fun. Okie dokie then. The path seems to have led me to someone's wheat field, which is really cool. It's been a little bit of time since I walked through some wheat fields, and they're in that like just turning from green to golden place, which is really neat. Apparently part of what I'm doing is the Cuckmere Pilgrim Path. That's cool. On the path, and it's taking me into this slightly wooded area. I'm pretty sure these guys are all stinging nettle, so you don't want to touch those. And here we go. So you know, in a few videos ago how I said rarely do you see a red telephone booth actually being used as a telephone booth. This is one of the other things they use it at. It's like a little free library. We have these in the States too. But yeah, reuse and all that. I just came through there. I have to go in there. Not thrilled about it. There's a lot of overgrowth on this path that I was not emotionally prepared for. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, that doesn't look too bad, at least. At least there's that. And more wheat fields. I'm walking through this wheat field, and I'm looking over here, and I'm looking at my map, and I'm pretty sure that line is where I'm going to climb up. So hopefully it'll be a good view up there. Taking a little breather on a bench I found. It's amazing how different the landscape looks when it's dark and overcast versus bright blue sun. My little walking path is now taking me to an overgrown cemetery and church, so you know, that's not creepy or anything. Cool, 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 cool. 1656, aged 42 years. Wow, this is old. Very old. There's my first glimpse of the Long Man of Wilmington. viewpoint of the Long Man of Wilmington. According to this little sign here, it says it's a mystery. The earliest known reference to Long Man suggests the original figure was a marking in the grass rather than a solid line. During the Victorian period, the shape was marked with yellow bricks and more recently replaced with concrete blocks. The Long Man is best viewed from a distance. Aerial photos show the true shape of the Long Man is elongated, though from the ground he assumes normal human proportions, which is kind of interesting since it would have appeared before anybody could be aerial. Apparently there's also a horse. I've seen the horse from a distance before, so I don't know that I need to seek it out necessarily, but it's really pretty here, so I'm gonna take a moment to enjoy. I thought this was a good moment to give you a shot of the hedgerows. So these are very common in England, which is in contrast to Ireland that doesn't usually have these. But they're these big, tall, like hedges essentially, that line both roads, so that's the road over there, and sometimes footpaths. Which, you know, I'm sure they serve a purpose, but when you're trying to see the countryside, it makes it real difficult. So this is our view from the foot of the Man of Wilmington. Not a bad one. Apparently, if I wanted to continue the Cuckmere pilgrim path, it goes that direction, and I'm guessing up this hill because I saw somebody climbing up this hill, but doesn't seem to be in my journey today. So yeah, this is the high point on this trail and ain't too shabby. So that is where I traveled before. You can see there's that cool house that I liked, and there's the wheat fields, that little path right there that I walked through. All the way down there, and then up. Now I'm on this path. I'm gonna go down, and I think that's the town of Alfriston. It's Alfriston. Alfriston or something like that. So I'm gonna go down there. Oh, you can see the horse from here. So that's the other, I can't zoom in that far, but that's the horse. It's exactly like the Old Man of Wilmington, only it's obviously a horse. There's another path you can get to go closer to there, but it's not for me today. So another day, another encounter with the South Downs Way. And here I am back on the Cluck. I want to say Cluck, but it's Cuck. It's C-U-C-K. Cuckmere Pilgrim's Path. So I'm pretty sure that's Alfriston right in front of me. So I'm gonna go in and check it out a little bit. It's 11:20 a.m. Oh look, there's the horse. And if I want to go, so I'm trying to make a decision. If I want to go on to, I don't know if it's Lewes or Lewes. I'm thinking it's Lewes, L-E-W-E-S. Then I need to catch a bus at like 12:30 and go that direction. It's further away from where I'm staying. Or I can go back to where I'm staying and go to the beach. So those are my choices. We shall see. Part of it, I'm just kind of playing it by ear, which I rarely do and it always freaks me out, but I'm trying to be better about that. So I think I'm gonna go take it one step at a time, poke around the little village, maybe have some lunch, see what time it is, let that help me make my decision. I'm worried this bridge wouldn't exist because it's like barely existent on the map, but thankfully it's here. It's quite pretty actually. All of my options. Just made it to Alfriston. This old clergy house, little park. I'm just gonna have a little bit of an explore. Well, now that I can finally talk again, I made it to Lewes. That's actually how it's pronounced. And the other town is Alfriston. I asked the bus drivers. So I'm here. I have some pretty gnarly blisters, which, if you know about my foot history, I was a ballerina, and my ability to understand how bad foot injuries are is kind of limited. It's either pain or no pain. There's no levels. So I looked at my feet and was like, hey, you shouldn't be hiking anymore because of the size of the blisters. So instead, I'm gonna do a little bit of town walking. I'm not sure how much better that's gonna be for my feet, but at least, I don't know, there'll probably be a little less of it. So I'm here in Lewes. It's supposed to be this historic town. So I'm gonna try to start at the tourist center and then go from there. I know there's a castle and maybe there's a brewery. We're gonna find out. Okay. Well, the story of my life. When I travel, the thing is always closed on the day that I'm there. It is Saturday. Oh well. Castle. Not sure if I'm gonna go in. We'll take a look. I decided not to go in the castle. It wasn't expensive, but it seems like, I don't know, just not worth the time, and I don't really want to spend it walking around up and down stairs just to see the outside of the castle, which I can pretty much see from the street. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing. Going to explore the town instead. This place. It's an old bookshop. Clearly it hasn't been kind of remodeled on the outside like some of the other buildings I've seen happen. Super neat. The old brick-lined roads. See how they've been paved over because obviously pavement is smoother, but they're still underneath, so everything's a little janky. It's called Rotten Row. Another cool old looking house. St. John's Cottage is what it's called. And I believe that's Anne of Lewes' house. So this is the ruins of a priory. It's now turned into a bit of a park and there's a pathway, but apparently this was like the order of monks for many hundreds of years. They had a lot of power and a lot of control, and then when King Henry VIII changed the religion, Reformation happened, and this got torn down. So back in its heyday, this is what the priory would have looked like, and that's what's left of it. See here kind of what remains is just a little bit of kind of the inner part of it, and everything else that are on that kind of make up these grounds now would have been torn down to build various things over the last 500 years or so. Now it's a park and a football field, or soccer if you're American. Presented to the people of Lewes on the 700th anniversary of the Battle of Lewes in 1264. Apparently they refurbished it 50 years later as another commemoration. If any of you playground enthusiasts out there want to know what a playground in England looks like, not that different. Swings are a little different perhaps. And they also have a trampoline in the ground, which is kind of cool. Still lots of slides, maybe fewer things to climb on, some sandbox action, and a tunnel, which is kind of cool. But that's what I got for you on today's playground update. Apparently I missed the Gin and Fizz Festival. Sounds like a great time. This shop has jokes. My brewery adventure has been a little unsuccessful. There's two kind of independent breweries, but they're both a 15-minute walk out from where I was, which is already on the other side of town. My feet are just not up for a 30-minute round trip. So I'm gonna walk to the train station. If I see some sort of pub along the way, I'm gonna stop, maybe try and get something local. Otherwise, I think I'm gonna take the train back home or to Eastbourne and see how long that takes. Well, I'm sitting at the Lewes train station waiting for a train back to Eastbourne. I walked around the town. I had a half pint of some local-ish ale. I am ready to go back and take off my shoes and see the damage that the blisters have wrought. But today was a good day. Like, I think I haven't been able to really relax because I've been in such like touristic areas. Like, I mean, this is still a touristic place, like where I'm at in Lewes. Like, very much the pubs have been changed into these like restaurants and gastropubs and things like that. But it's, I don't know, the vibe is just different. It's not like created for the tourists. Whereas like Brighton and Eastbourne almost feels like London decided to have a seaside vacation. Which is, it's just a different vibe. And this is here in Lewes, and then Alfriston is definitely more my vibe. Much more rural, much more small. So I'm excited to see what some of the other places I have planned on this trip bring. Yeah, so I'll bring you along and we'll see what we see.